young offenders that have in the past been made the subject
of ASBO's antisocial behaviour orders.
This policy recognises that tackling crime
is not just about punishment.
Education is also crucial.
And that is why we intend to bring in a new system
whereby young people who observe the terms of their ASBO
will be entitled to what?
Entitled to a good
behaviour bond.
This is a one-off payment which will be contingent on attendance at a recognised education.
OK, James, the costings.
It's not hard with the costings.
Explain to me why a very similar idea was thrown out by her own Chancellor only last year for being too expensive.
Get to the delinquency bribe.
Not a good behaviour bond, but a delinquency bribe rewarding criminal behaviour. I'm sorry, I'm struggling to understand why my right honourable friend is having
Don't let her get on.
Expenditure of £10 million with an estimated take-up rate of 15%.
Go on, James, finish her off.
Are these figures correct? Question 2, do they represent value for money?
How have they got those figures?
Well, value for money is involved in keeping our young offenders out of prison.
By paying them, yes.
This is a total freaking car crash.
Somebody leaked it.
No!
Was it you?
No!
It wasn't Kirsty, Joe. It was nothing to do with her. This is all my fault.
Out. Start talking. All ready for tomorrow?
We've done the research. It's a good policy and Joe takes no prisoners in the house. We've just made a few tweaks to the speech. Oh, no.
What's up?
My brother.
James needs a victory on the floor tomorrow. People are saying he lacks a killer instinct.
Well, Joe Porter doesn't, so he better get his mojo working. Why do we need lobbyists?
It's about giving my clients the opportunity to influence the legislation that will affect them.
I mean, obviously I can't compete with MPs researching when it comes to credibility, but somebody has to sell their soul to provide Daniel with a sofa to sleep on.
I'll get some drinks.
You like her, don't you?
Hey, shut up.
You like her.
Don't. Just don't.
Hurry up, Danny, she's coming back.
Licorice rib ticklers. Would you want your ribs tickled with one of those? Don't know. I'm not a girl. Or anything, but, no.
James, it's Ashika. Get back to the office right now.
I'm getting a bus, but would you like me to walk you to the tube?
I think I'll be okay, thanks.
All right. Good night.
The speech, the report, the appendices, the professional feedback. You left them all in a pub toilet.
They're in the same folder, yeah.
And what shall I say, Danny? How shall I explain it? My idiot researcher, who I'm always praising to high heaven, took his eye off the ball.
You can do that, yeah.
When?
Whenever you want, I mean...
When did you leave it in the pub?
When? Last night, Kirsty wants to become an MP's researcher, so she came to me for advice.
So, it was somewhere between hitting on the intern and getting another bag of cheese and onion crisps.
I was trying to help her out.
And you thought you'd show her a researcher at the peak of his powers?
I don't know, I thought maybe the cleaners might have found the folder and thrown it away, you know, that's what I'd hoped.
Great. A year's work.
I know that better than anyone.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's dead in the water now. Finished. A year's work flushed down the toilet.
I'm sorry.
We had an opportunity to get a decent and progressive policy onto the agenda, and you blew it. You blew it, Danny.
You kicked her ass. Good night, Vienna. Would it be vulgar to high-five?
I think in this case it could certainly be justified.
Oh, thick.
5. So, still think I lack killer instinct?
You did okay.
Just okay.
No, ignore little Miss Too Cool for School. You totally ruled.
We win the Portman Bright account, and it'll push us into the top 10 lobby firms. Suppose you're wondering why I've divided the job between the pair of you.
No, not really. Never occurred to us.
Jake, you'll concentrate on looking after their people. They're sending down 2 PR bods. Alex and Sally. Scott, you'll be bringing in the obvious Home Office players. But on top of that, though, we need some Tories.
Tories?
Listening to Kanye West on their iPods, wearing flip-flops, hugging hoodies. The newer, the better.
Portman Bright must have known that we were basically a labour agency when they approached us, though.
Yeah, and given the current state of play, I wish that perception to change. So let's build up our Tory contacts. Or I'll have to start employing some Tories to do it.
Her Excellency the High Commissioner of South Africa has the pleasure of inviting Joe Porter and guest. This is that AIDS conference thingy.
President of South Africa's the keynote speaker. I mean, they're hosting a big reception afterwards. I was meant to be going too with Joe.
You think that might be awkward now?
I could live with awkward. My dad was on the executive committee for the anti-apartheid movement. I mean, he knew the president. They were friends, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah. Joe was really involved as well. We used to have dinners for the ANC at our house. Me and Scott handed out peanuts in bowls. Oliver Tambo, Archbishop Trevor Huddleston. If there were any peanuts left, we were allowed to eat them, so we always watched them, like, really anxiously. I think the guests got quite freaked out.
I'd have been freaked out with you and your brother staring at me.
You know what? Maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe if I talk to Joe there outside the office, things will...
Joe in her office?
Yes.
Roger.
Shit, that's...
The Chief Whip, yeah.
Okay, so you've slept with half the rising stars of the Conservative Party.
You might want to start this conversation again.
As a hugely talented, very well-connected young journalist, you're on very good terms with half the rising stars of the new Conservative Party.
It is true. I've got some friends in W10.
Yeah. So, who do you see as the real up-and-coming talent?
Oh, I get it. Scott, you don't do Tory. At least, not in that sense.
And I wish it could stay that way, but I do have my orders. What about Conrad Spelling, James Northcote?
James is good. Rightfully driven. All modernised and on message, you know? Keeps both an ethnic and a shirt lifter in his office.
So can you get me an introduction?
No.
Oh, come on, Sophie.
Why should I give up my contacts to you?
Because I can get you an interview with the Chancellor.
No, you can't.
No, I can't. No, not with the Chancellor. But come on, Sophie, help me out a little bit here, please.
Well, Scott, if you want a favour, you're going to have to ask for it properly. I want dinner as well. Don't bother booking a table. I come to your flat, we drink lots of wine. I may even smoke a cigarette. And then we blow out the restaurant and go straight to bed.
And there's no point in messing with the winning formula, I guess. Well,
how about tomorrow?
Done.
Thanks.
You would have done it. If the situation had been reversed, don't tell me you wouldn't have done exactly the same thing. That's politics.